blind, have low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello. Welcome to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour is Elizabeth Ortel. Starting with the front page of the Amherst Bee, Williamsville South bringing something rotten to the stage. It is officially theater production season in Williamsville, with Williamsville South High School's rendition of Something Rotten by Carrie Kirkpatrick and John O'Farrell coming to the stage from February 5th through the 7th. Something Rotten is a musical comedy set in the 1950s, 1590s, that follows Nick and Nigel Bottom, two brothers who are trying to write a popular play while their competitor, William Shakespeare, keeps taking the spotlight. It is a very funny show, said assistant director and co-choreographer Chelsea Potter. There are a lot of parodies of musical theater. If you are a fan of musical theater and the arts at all, you will recognize a lot of things, and that makes the show so fun. With two of the lead roles being played for graduating seniors, Daniel Gerzone as William Shakespeare and Quentin Baker as Nick Bottom, this play was chosen as a male lead production, which serves as a unique twist on the typical Will South production. It is rare in musical theater that you get such a strong core of male actors, said Potter. There are also so many other reasons why we thought this play would be perfect for us. There are a lot of opportunities for dancers, and we have a very strong dancing group this year. This play really has a perfect balance of so many things for everyone involved in the production. When we first heard that we were doing this play, I had never heard of it, said junior Ella Buckley, who stars as Portia, the love interest to Nigel Bottom. When I got home, I watched 3 different productions, and I thought that it was going to be really fun. I knew no matter what role I got that it was going to be so much fun because there is so much dancing in the show. With a production with so many moving parts, such as dance numbers, complicated relationships, heated rivalries, and ballads, there were many challenges that can go into each role in the production. This is the first role I have gotten where I have a big song, said Junior Lyra Ward, who stars as Bee, the love interest to Nick Bottom. It was my biggest challenge because it is in a style that I haven't really sung before, and it was out of my comfort zone. I think it really helped me grow as a singer and a performer. The biggest challenge for me was the fact that my character is super emotional, said junior Ryan Knabb, who plays Nigel Bottom. Being able to slow things down and realize the magnitude of certain situations in the show was kind of difficult. Learning how to react to certain lines was hard, but it made me grow as an actor. With this being the last production of the year, senior cast members will be performing on the Williamsville South stage for the final time as they look back and reflect on their years as student performers. Also, from the front page of the January 29th, 2026 issue of Amherst Bee, Station 12 to add more tenants. By Amy Wallace, Amherst editor. More changes are coming for Station 12, the long vacant retail plaza near Whole Foods at 3097 Sheridan Drive near Niagara Falls Boulevard in Amherst. The long vacant Station 12 project is still not complete, after construction was originally halted in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, construction either has started and stopped for various reasons, or has moved at what seems like a snail's pace, frustrating local leaders and residents alike. According to reports, the 4 new stores coming to the site include Warby Parker, Black and Blue Steak and Crab Restaurant, Tempur-Pedic, and the North Face. Station 12 also recently announced that Industrious will be opening there. Industrious will offer private offices, co-working and meeting spaces, a common kitchen, and a rooftop deck spanning 2 stores. No opening dates have been released. Last September, Station 12 announced several new tenants, including Williams-Sonoma, Pottery Barn, Anthropology, Alo Yoga, Solid Core, Ever Eve, Just Salad, Gorjana, FP Movement, Rowan, Free People, and Ula Bowls. Sharing this tenant lineup is incredibly meaningful to us, and we're excited to bring several new brands to the market, said Dick Marks, Vice Chairman, WS Development, back in September. The town of Amherst and the Buffalo area have always deserved something remarkable, and we've remained steadfast in our commitment to get this project right for the community. Although several tenants have been announced, none have opened as of yet, and no specific timeline has been given for the openings. Back in 2022, the town of Amherst, frustrated with delays, gave the developer an ultimatum to finish 3 of the original 6 buildings, or their construction permits would not be renewed. The developer, Boston-based WS Development, originally cited the COVID-19 pandemic as the reason construction came to a sudden halt back in the spring of 2020. After then, Andrew Cuomo, governor, mandated strict restrictions on construction sites as part of pandemic mitigation measures. However, the company has not given any reason for the slow pace of construction since then. WS Development originally bought the site in 2015, adding the Whole Foods store in 2017, before site work was stopped in 2020. Since then, an at-home store has been added next to Whole Foods, while the remainder of the site has been under construction or vacant since 2020. The front page of the Amherst Bee. Board gives update on federal housing funds by Amy Wallace, Amherst editor. The Amherst Town Board received an update at its January 20th meeting on the town's 2026 Community Development Action Plan. The Community Development Block Grant Program provides annual grants on a formula basis to states, cities, and counties to develop viable urban communities by providing decent housing and a suitable living environment, and by expanding economic opportunities, principally for low and moderate income persons. It is operated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. CDBG funds may be used for activities which include acquisition of real property, relocation and demolition, rehabilitation of residential and non-residential structures, construction of public facilities and improvements, such as water and sewer facilities, streets, neighborhood centers, and the conversion of school buildings for eligible purposes, public services within certain limits, activities relating to energy conservation and renewable energy resources, provision of assistance to profit-motivated businesses to carry out economic development and job creation retention activities. The update from Community Development Director Lori Stillwell was part of a second public hearing on Community Development Block Grant and the Home Investment Partnership Program. The funding must address housing and community development needs, Stillwell told the board. Eligible activities under the CDBG and Home Investment Partnership funding, and be consistent with the town's 5-year consolidated plan. Certain CDBG activities must occur in qualifying census tracts and assist targeted neighborhoods. Stillwell told the town board that this year's anticipated allocation for the CDBG would be $625,000, and for the Home Investment Partnership Program would be $830,000. The program income would be $120,000 for CDBG and $400,000 for the Home Investment Partnership. The Village of Williamsville gets 7% of this funding, or $43,750, which it says will be used for new fire equipment for the Hutchinson Hose Fire Company, Stillwell said. The breakdown of the $625,000 funding will be $149,750 for housing rehabilitation, $110,000 for public services, $210,000 for public facilities, and $111,500 for administrative costs. Under the Home Investment Partnership Program, $100,000 will go toward home rental subsidies, and $149,000 will go toward the first-time homebuyer program. We held a first public hearing on the funding at our October 9th, 2025 meeting. The draft action plan had to be ready on December 18th, 2025, and we are holding the second public hearing, which was held on February 2nd. Police blotter, January 11th, Sunday. Amherst police responded to a Maple Road grocery store for the report of a subject with a knife. The victim reported he bumped into someone as he entered the store and apologized. The suspect followed him through the store, displayed a knife, and said, "I didn't realize I had this open." The suspect then walked away, saying, "I bet you didn't either," and left the store. The victim did not wish to pursue charges. Tuesday, January 13th, an Amherst police officer attempted to stop a vehicle for having a suspended registration. The driver took an unexpected turn into the nearby coffee shop drive-through lane and pulled away before abruptly stopping. She refused to exit her vehicle after being told the car was being towed because it was unregistered, but was eventually taken into custody. Wednesday, January 14th, Amherst police responded to an area daycare center for the report of a female that had stumbled out of a car into the daycare and was now unresponsive. EMTs tended to the female. An employee also was made aware by the emergency contact that the whereabouts were unknown of another child that did not attend the daycare. The employee located a 1-year-old in a car seat in the vehicle and brought him inside. Further investigation revealed the 45-year-old female from Amherst was intoxicated. She is facing a separate felony charge for drinking drunk with a child in the vehicle. Around our area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next, we will be reading from the Clarence Bee of Thursday, January 29th. From the front page, Town Board bids farewell to Clarence Bee editor by Joseph Clenard, reporter. After over 6 years of dedication, Emily Vargo has resigned her position as Clarence Bee editor. To celebrate her achievements as editor, the Town Clarence Board took the time to recognize her during their meeting on January 21st. "I want to compliment you on what a great job you have been doing," said Town of Clarence Supervisor Patrick Casilio. "Over the past few years, you have done so much to help promote the town through your paper and the excellent work with your promoting. We are super happy for you, but you will be greatly missed here." In other news, the Town Board approved several intermunicipal agreements with the Town of Lancaster for composting at the Town of Clarence Highway Department. Additionally, 4 separate public hearings were held for both individuals and businesses around the town. First, Robert Bagley of 9329 via Samato Drive requested a special exemption use permit for the construction of an attached secondary living unit located in the residential single-family zone. This attachment is intended to be used by a relative of Bagley's and fits the parameters set by the town code. So the board approved this request. Construction will begin in the coming months. Eurocharged New York, an auto repair shop in Lancaster, requested a temporary conditional permit for an automotive repair and performance facility located at 5844 Goodrich Road. Given the request is approved, Eurocharge plans to move out the Lancaster location and into the new location on Goodrich. However, One resident in an adjacent property expressed concern and disapproval of the proposed auto repair shop for potential disturbances to the neighboring homes, including loud noises and material spillage. After deliberation, the board found that no issues would be caused by the proposed auto repair shop, and if they were to come up, they would be addressed. The board approved this request, and Euro Charged is now in the process of moving locations. GMA Contract Design, located at 9377 County Road, requested a temporary conditional permit for outside business storage and operation intended for company vehicles, to which the board approved. Lastly, a preliminary conceptual review was held regarding an approximately 36,000 square foot commercial rental building for Lenco Supplies, located at 7631 Transit Road. This location will be a downsize of Lenco's previous location. However, the space will be used more efficiently in the new location. After deliberating on a concept of a planned pool of water at the corner of Transit and Walcott Roads, the board is in support of this proposal and approved the conceptual plan for Lenco. Also from the front page of the Clarence Bee, Clarence teachers selected for State Master Teacher Program. Daniel Graff. Daniel Graff, a physics teacher at Clarence High School, has been selected to participate in New York State's Master Teacher Program, a competitive 4-year professional development initiative for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics educators. Graff was one of 177 teachers statewide chosen for the program this year. Participants engage in ongoing professional learning, collaborate with educators across their regions, and serve as mentors to early career teachers. Graff, a 1999 graduate of Clarence High School, has taught in the district since 2008. He said the program offers an opportunity for continued growth rather than a professional distinction. The Master Teacher Program is not a pedestal upon which the best teachers are placed, but rather an opportunity to keep learning and grow as an educator, Graff said. It's a license to learn. Before entering the teaching profession, Graff studied engineering in college. He said he ultimately decided that teaching better aligned with his interest. I didn't want to be an engineer, he said. I liked working with kids, working with other people. Teaching seemed like a good fit. Prior to joining the Clarence Central School District, Graff taught in the Lyndonville and Hornell school districts. At Clarence High School, he teaches physics and emphasizes real-world applications of scientific concepts, including topics such as the refraction of light and how eyeglasses function. Anybody who's naturally curious about how things work can love physics, Graff said. It's showing how science helps people and makes life better. Selection for the Master Teacher Program follows a months-long application and interview process that evaluates candidates on content knowledge, instructional practice, and engagement with their school communities. In addition to his classroom responsibilities, Graff serves as advisor to the school's Raffle Club and has previously coached track and field. He and his wife, Carrie, an art teacher at Clarence High School, have 3 children, Kaylee, Hannah, and Daniel. In a news release announcing the 2026 cohort, Governor Kathy Hochul highlighted the role of educators in student development. Educators play a vital role in preparing the next generation for a successful future by not only teaching them, but also by caring for them at every stage of their education, Hochul said. I am proud to celebrate the exceptional teachers and counselors who are making an impact on New York State students every day. Several Clarence educators have previously been named to the Master Teacher Program, including Jennifer Ayers, Kelly Golizak, Michelle Lair, Kathleen Sugg, Pamela Urbanek, Deborah Werlin, and Sean Murray. Police blotter. Saturday, January 17th. Deputies checked a report of a suspicious vehicle parked in a driveway on Griner Road. The caller reported an unfamiliar vehicle with someone inside. Upon arrival, deputies spoke with the caller, who determined the vehicle belonged to a family member from out of state. No further action was required. Deputies assisted a motorist whose vehicle had broken down on Transit Road. Deputies reported the vehicle was restarted and the motorist was able to continue on their way. On that same Saturday, deputies from the Clarence substation and the Sheriff's Community Engagement Team continued dedicated patrols intended to deter larcenies from vehicles. The Sheriff's Office is reminding residents to lock vehicles when left unattended and to remove valuables whenever possible. Wednesday, January 21st, deputies took possession of multiple firearms that were surrendered for the purpose of safekeeping. Deputies responded to a report of shoplifting at a business on Transit Road. Deputies gathered information and video footage to complete a police report. The incident remains under investigation. Thursday, January 22nd, deputies assisted with a vehicle that went off the road at Salt Road and Clarence Center Road. No injuries were reported. Deputies provided traffic control until the vehicle was safely removed. Friday, January 23rd, deputies responded to a report of larceny at a business on Transit Road. Deputies gathered information and video footage to complete a police report. The incident remains under investigation. Deputies and fire personnel responded to a report of carbon monoxide alarm activation on Fairfield Drive. Fire officials reported conditions were normal and no injuries were reported. Clarence Middle School conducted its annual spelling bee on January 14, 2026, with students in grades 6 through 8 participating. Sixth grader Benjamin Gibson won the competition in the last round after correctly spelling the word diagonal. Seventh grader Ava Ramachandran placed second after competing against Gibson in 4 consecutive rounds. Eighth graders Abigail Luke and Arnav Kukar tied for third place. 30 students participated in the competition, which exhausted the official study guide. Words spelled during the event included hors d'oeuvres, boulangerie, which is a bakery specializing in bread, particularly French-style breads. Gibson received a Kindle and an Amazon gift card for winning the competition. Ramachandran, Luck, and Kukar each received Barnes & Noble gift cards. All prizes were donated by the Clarence Middle School Parent-Teacher Organization. 5 additional participants were selected at random to receive Amazon gift cards. Gibson will represent Clarence Middle School at the Regional Spelling Bee scheduled for March in Fredonia. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The next bee that we'll be reading is the Thursday, January 29th issue of the Cheektowaga Bee. On the front page, conversations regarding ICE and the CPD resurface during most recent board meeting. During a Cheektowaga Town Board meeting on Tuesday, January 14th, a group of protesters made local headlines after voicing their frustrations over the Cheektowaga Police Department's alleged collusion with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Although police officials, including Cheektowaga Captain Jeffrey Schmidt, said the department is not actively enforcing immigration law, The conversation resurfaced at the most recent meeting on Tuesday, January 27th, with familiar faces returning and new voices joining an already heated debate. What I'd like to focus on is the fact that ICE isn't new, said Dan Kniewecki, who returned January 27th after attending the initial protests. Kniewecki added that ICE has been around since 2003, and although many immigrants have been trying to warn the population that ICE is a problem, it took until what we saw in Minneapolis for people to actually stand up and listen and do something about it. Kniewecki, I'm going to spell that name, Gniewecki, was likely referring to two recent high-profile shootings in Minneapolis involving federal agents and protesters. On January 7th, U.S. citizen Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent during an anti-ICE protest. And on January 24th, Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old ICU nurse and U.S. citizen, was killed after being shot by federal officers during another anti-ICE demonstration, incidents that have drawn intense national scrutiny and widespread protests. Body camera footage of Good's shooting is available online. Viewer discretion is advised. Body camera footage of Preddy's shooting has not been publicly released, although the U.S. Department of Homeland Security says it does exist and is currently under review by investigators. Kniewecki then urged the board to take action against ICE, recommending the adoption of New York for All, a proposed state law aimed at limiting local and state cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. He also called for support of the MELT Act, proposed New York state legislation that would require ICE agents to remove face coverings, wear clearly identifiable badges, and comply with additional accountability measures. Holly Nowak, Supervisor Brian Nowak's wife, was also at the meeting to voice her concerns over ICE. We cannot cooperate with people who are literally gunning people down in the street, who are murdering people on camera, and then telling us that we didn't see what we saw. A few moments later, Holly directed her message to the board, stating, "I'm imploring all of you to do what is right and to end cooperation with ICE now." Another speaker, Bill Bitterman, said, "There's false claims being made everywhere that we are agitators and paid protesters." He called the claims insulting and an outright lie. Bitterman, who said he was born and raised in Cheektowaga, added, "We have to remember that all of the current issues and problems in our society didn't begin or start until after ICE started terrorizing, murdering, and publicly executing United States citizens whose only crime was exercising their constitutional rights as Americans." Bitterman also asked the board and the Cheektowaga Police Department to withdraw their support for ICE immediately and keep the agency out of the community, adding that if they do not, we'll vote every one of you out when your terms are up, no matter what, and I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Jennifer Page, a resident of Sloan for 5 years, said, "These domestic terrorists are terrorizing our country. We're in a fascist place right now, and we have a moral obligation to do the right thing and review the policies that you have in place with Cheektowaga Police and make sure that it aligns with New York for All, because everybody deserves safety. I don't care what your immigration status is." Dennis Hannon, who attended the meeting to voice his opposition to the protesters, said he worked for 3 years in an FBI field office as a confidential source. He said he was tasked with combating human trafficking and protecting children who were victims of violent sexual crimes, adding that his role with the FBI helped him understand firsthand the importance of cooperation between local and federal law enforcement agencies. Hannon said tragedies occur when federal and local law enforcement stop working together, and that, to avoid becoming the next Minneapolis, Cheektowaga residents should comply with lawful orders. While Hannon said everyone has the right to protest, he added that there are consequences for people who impede or interfere with federal law enforcement investigations. Hannon also said that while some people want to stand up for Alex Preddy, the nurse and protester who was killed in Minneapolis, I stand with the nurses like Laken Riley, who don't have a voice and who were brutally murdered by illegal immigrants that came into this country. Riley was a 22-year-old Augusta University nursing student who was attacked and killed in 2024 by Jose Antonio Ibarra, a 26-year-old Venezuelan man who entered the country illegally in 2022. Riley was murdered while jogging in a wooded area on the University of Georgia campus. Ibarra was found guilty of the crime and sentenced to life in prison. My ancestors came here the legal way, Hannon said. We have a legal process and we have legal ports of entry. And guess what? When you come here illegally, that's the risk you take. We don't separate families. We send them all back together. I stand with law enforcement, he said. I encourage my friends to also work with ICE, because if you want tragedy, it'll come from not communicating with each other. Hannon added, we have an immigration crisis. During the final public comment period, Councilmember Vernon Thompson said the Cheektowaga Police Department does a fantastic job, adding that the department is not randomly picking people up and accusing them of crimes. Thompson also said it is incredibly important for Cheektowaga Police to be in communication with other agencies. We're in communication with, the Lancaster Police Force, and I'm sure with the FBI. There needs to be levels of communication to be effective, to make sure that your community is safe and the jobs get done. Thompson also said the police department is not going around terrorizing neighborhoods. Nobody in our department is doing that, he said. Councilmember Stephen Nowicki said he will push for a resolution separating ICE from the Cheektowaga Police Department. My position is not anti-safety or anti-law enforcement, he said. It's about ensuring our local police operate within their constitutional limits, avoid exposing the town to legal liability that we may already be subject to, and maintain the trust of all residents, citizens, and non-citizens alike. The next article from the front page also of the Cheektowaga Bee, debates over increasing the tax cap begin, by Michael Pulse, Cheektowaga editor. The first round of public hearings on a proposed resolution that would allow the Cheektowaga Town Board to increase taxes beyond the New York State tax levy limit for fiscal year 2027 was held Tuesday, January 27th, with residents attending to share their opinions. The tax cap is set at the lesser of 2%, or the rate of inflation, and likely will not be finalized until later in the year. Mark Farrell, a Borden Road resident, voiced his disapproval of the resolution, saying the town should work within its budget. We need to find a way to work in a private forum or open forum like this to keep things intact for the taxpayers, he said. Control your spending. Wally Carriero, another resident, also opposed the resolution. He said higher taxes would be more reasonable if residents were receiving efficient services, but he does not believe that is the case. Carriero also suggested the town hire more code enforcement officers because some residents are not shoveling sidewalks, picking up garbage, or cutting grass. People are not being good residents of our town, he said. And all I call on you guys to do is to be fiscally responsible and hold the residents accountable as well. Rick Maisano, a resident and former deputy supervisor to Supervisor Brian Nowak, said his taxes have more than doubled since he moved to Cheektowaga 40 years ago. Maisano expressed concerns that raising the tax cap could hurt seniors and young people trying to buy homes in the town. He also said the town cannot continue funding bonding for projects because it will burden future generations of taxpayers. Brian Krause, the Director of Administration and Finance for the town of Cheektowaga, gave a presentation to help residents understand the town's financial situation. He said the town's budget currently totals $113 million, funded through miscellaneous revenue sources, property taxes, and money from fund balances or reserve accounts. From 2020 to 2026, the town increased spending by $20.6 million, a 22% rise. During that time, miscellaneous revenue sources increased by about $6 million, and taxes rose roughly $6.6 million, or 9.5%. The town also increased its appropriated fund balance by $8 million, a 131% increase. While we have these budgets in place, they're structurally unbalanced, Krause said, noting the concern. He added that the town is spending more than it generates in revenue, and while it can do so for a time, it cannot do it indefinitely. If the state tax cap remains at 2% and the board decides not to go over it, Krause said, the town could levy roughly $1 million more in taxes in 2027. I believe Cheektowaga is the only town in western New York, at least of our size, that has not exceeded the tax cap since the law has been in place in 2012, he said. The current budget includes about $44 million for union contracts, and 4 of the town's 5 union contracts need to be negotiated for 2027. Other projected spending increases for 2027 include approximately $550,000 for retirement costs, assuming a 5% rise in New York State rates, $845,000 for health insurance, $270,000 for Buffalo Sewer Authority services, $178,000 for sanitation contracts, and other costs, totaling roughly $3.2 million in unavoidable increases. With the state tax cap likely limiting the allowable levy increase to around $1.5 million, the town faces a structural shortfall of about $1.7 million. Krause noted that revenue projections include mixed trends. Federal interest rate cuts may reduce the town's interest income. Cannabis taxes have been increasing. Sales taxes typically rise modestly each year. Mortgage taxes are not expected to increase, and the town is still awaiting revenue estimates from the new hotel bed tax. In 2024, the town spent $6.2 million more than it collected, requiring the use of its fund balance. The town is still finalizing 2025 accruals, but projects using $2.9 million of its fund balance. Krause said it is likely that spending will exceed revenues again this year. All I'm highlighting here is that the budget's out of balance, and if we don't balance it, at some point the town will be bankrupt, Krause said. He added that property taxes would have to rise if the town goes bankrupt. You're listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Next, we will be reading the Lancaster Depew Bee for Thursday, January 29th. Moose Lodge popularity surges among local residents. Organization heightens focus on community assistance, creative events, by James Sinner, editor. There's no lack of activity at the Depew-Lancaster Moose Lodge lately, increasing their overall visibility through a bolstered events schedule and increased community outreach efforts. Over the weekend, the lodge volunteered its space for a fundraiser event to benefit Trinity Food Pantry, raising $1,520 in total. The kind of community outreach that they are doing now, they are making it a new and exciting place that I think myself and other people that have joined can see. Their membership is flourishing, said Gavin O'Brien, who helped oversee the fundraiser event on behalf of Trinity Food Pantry. It's because people are excited about the fact that the Moose Lodge wants to be an organization that positively affects the community, and they're doing it. Dee Miller, who was appointed administrator at the Moose Lodge in fall 2025, has worked alongside the fraternal organization's board to help spearhead changes and strengthen community ties. In addition to her role at the lodge, Miller is a village board member and founder of the Hope Project of Western New York, Incorporated, a charitable organization that provides clothing, school supplies, hygiene products, and other essential items to families in need. I am so pro-community. That's really the only thing I know. We are trying heavily to be involved and help the local community as much as possible, Miller said. With years of experience in community work, Miller isn't short on ideas or enthusiasm for gaining positive attention at the Moose Lodge, already planning events for when spring arrives. I spoke to the Lancaster Fire Department, and we are going to do the Easter activities as a Moose Lodge and Village Fire Department event. You know, Easter games and all of that good stuff. Miller added that the sale of hot dogs at various events in recent months had been aimed at another initiative, to purchase electric lawnmowers for use with the club's youth program. We're to have our senior volunteers drive our younger volunteers with the equipment to do work at local homes. This would be for elderly people or disabled veterans, people who need it. As part of the effort to serve those in need, the Moose Lodge will open a space with free essential goods. We are turning a room upstairs into the hygiene closet. We are also gathering gently used Lancaster and Depew sweatshirts, Miller said, adding that products like deodorant, toothpaste, and feminine goods will be available. Miller aims to make the Boys and Girls Club a large part of the Moose Lodge's future, both being popular local organizations that can benefit each other through shared facility use and general support. She added that the Moose plans to host a cornhole league for the Boys and Girls Club kids once their basketball program is over for the season. The club will return the favor by allowing the Moose access to their basketball courts. A former club kid herself, Miller said the two organizations have a history of working together. I got my club award here when I was 10. It was here at the Moose. It was on the stage. We used to have velvet curtains. We are really working together to get some of that back. Miller said she hopes to get the bowling alley in running operation for both Moose Lodge and Boys and Girls Club members, but she believes it will be a long process with a cost of roughly $112,000. Currently, 3 out of 8 lanes are operational, all consisting of parts no longer produced. You can't repair them. They're that old. All 8 lanes' pin-setting systems would require replacement if a project took place, but the first step would be seeking grant opportunities to help cover the cost. Once the new system has been installed, Miller said she wants to revitalize the space but not take away from its original charm and historic roots. We want to restore some of the original colors and make it genuinely for the people of Lancaster, Miller said. Breaking 900 members with the new year, the Depew-Lancaster Moose Lodge is seeking even more individuals to get involved with the organization. In addition to charitable efforts, Members can enjoy the several indoor facilities, a freshly refurbished barroom and dining space, various themed parties, trivia nights, concerts, raffles, and other events. Lancaster Depew B. Elma's Made in America store lists building for sale. The Made in America store in Elma has announced plans to sell the building that houses its flagship location in Elma, a move that will lead to a temporary closure while the business explores options to reopen at a future site. The family-owned business, located at 1000 West Maple Court off the Aurora Expressway, said in a Facebook post that the decision was made after careful consideration and does not signal the end of the brand. Owners said the Made in America store name, mission, and operations will continue, with plans to reopen in a new location when conditions allow. The decision comes months after the unexpected death of founder and owner Mark Andel last July at the age of 59. Since then, Andel's other Elma-based company, General Welding and Fabricating Incorporated, has closed too. As part of the transition, the current store will enter a liquidation phase. The company said its online shop will be temporarily placed on hold and is expected to resume once a new physical location is established. Additional details regarding liquidation dates, sales, gift cards, and customer information will be released at a later time. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Our next reading will be from the Kenton Bee of Thursday, January 29th. From the front page, KTSD holds Jerry Star Sleep Out to help families in need. By Chitra Selvaraj, editor. The Kenton School District, in partnership with Educators Totally Committed, ETC, will host the 39th annual Jerry Star Kenton School Sleep Out from 6 p.m. Friday, February 6th through 6 a.m. Saturday, February 7th at Kenmore East Senior High School. Participants in the Sleep Out will spend the night outdoors, sleeping in refrigerator boxes to raise donations of cash, food, clothing, personal care items, and small furniture for local organizations that support families in need. Proceeds from the event will benefit the Kenton Closet and the Kenton School District Family Support Center. Donations may be dropped off at Kenmore East High School between 6 and 10 p.m. on Friday, February 6th. A truck from Hearts for the Homeless will collect donations at 9:30 p.m. ETC member Stephen Ash and many local families struggle to afford warm clothing and other basic necessities during the winter months. He hopes the Sleep Out will encourage local businesses and residents to come together in support of children and families throughout the community. The food pantries, closets, and other organizations usually have their shelves stocked up with donations for Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, and Christmas. By the third week of January, after the holidays, the shelves become empty. If we hold this drive in midwinter, then we can help fill them up again, said Ash. According to Ash, ETC first started the Sleep Out in 1988 and have since collected more than $1 million along with donations of food, clothes, and small furniture items. The reason the school location was picked out was to let children learn a little responsibility towards their community, to take an active role, feel good about themselves, stated Ash. Hosting the Sleep Out at the school serves a dual purpose, raising awareness among children about the needs of others and showing them how they can help while directly supporting those in need. Children are our future. If we can teach them at an early age that it's not an I worked but a we world, they'll grow up to have that ingrained in them and they'll maybe do more. This sleep out engages students from grade K through 12, as well as teachers and staff, in this program of social awareness, noted Ash. Students participate in a manner appropriate to their grade level. This extends from making contributions to support the activity to actually sleep out. Ash hopes to increase awareness for people in a community to help others in need to their own community, to bring about that awareness worldwide. Ash wrote to the United Nations in December 2024, asking to establish the first Friday in February as a worldwide school day to help people in need. He said, "We ask for neither a dollar nor a dime, just a day." "I believe in the simplicity of this project," said Ash. "It's people bringing people and helping people. You are donating to the people in your own community, not somewhere far away. Your money is helping our own people. If many donated even $5 or $1, it makes a difference." And another article from the Canton Bee front page. Lindbergh Elementary School highlights calming and mindful approach to learning, by Joseph Clinard, reporter. A presentation highlighting Lindbergh Elementary School was given by the school's principal, Anne Macagnano, during the first Kenmore Town of Tonawanda Union Free School District Board of Education meeting of the year. The title of this presentation was Lindbergh Listens, with a focus on discussing how the school helps students to be able to center their focus while using calming techniques and coping skills. According to Macagnano, the ultimate goals of this approach are to establish consistent vocabulary to help students with emotional regulation and social emotional awareness, have students practice consistent mindful practices and techniques, increase positive interactions and relationships, and increase attendance due to better coping skills. These goals and techniques are all used to incorporated Mind Up curriculum, which was introduced as a result of a previous Office of Mental Health Mitigation Team grant from several years ago. These mindful-themed activities assist the school in meeting New York State social, emotional learning, and mental health education standards and goals, as well as district counseling plan goals. To focus on the goal of mindfulness, Lindbergh Elementary now has posters in the halls and a song that states its motto, "I am safe, I am kind, I am focused," as a reminder for all students. In other news, due to Lindbergh Elementary being the school spotlight of the meeting, several individuals from the school were honored with a recognition during the meeting. "This is always one of our favorite things we get to do each meeting," said Kenmore Town of Tonawanda Union Free School District Assistant Superintendent Matt Bistrak. "We get to recognize a student, a member of the support staff, and a member of the teaching staff to recognize for their dedication and commitment to the schools." Individuals receiving recognition are fourth grade student Elijah Rolden, teacher aide Erica Higgins, and kindergarten teacher Thomas Perryman. The board also approved several revisions to 2 policies in the school district, including revised Policy 8320, textbooks, library material, and other instructional matters, and revised Policy 8330, objection to instructional or library materials and controversial issues. The board has also announced an official vote for the recommendation that the Kenmore East baseball field be renamed the Robert A. Marafino Baseball Field in service of former baseball coach Robert Marafino. The vote is planned to take place during the May 19th meeting. Of the Kenton Bee. Made for Good Shop honored with Chambers Small Business. The Kenmore Village Improvement Society's volunteer-run Made for Good Shop received the Small Business Award from the Kenmore-Tonawanda Chamber of Commerce, recognizing its impact on local creativity and community engagement. Founded just 2.5 years ago, Made for Good was established to support local artists and makers while strengthening community connections in Kenmore. The shop offers a carefully curated selection of goods, many created by local artisans, and operates entirely through volunteer efforts. In addition to retail, the space functions as a community hub, hosting poetry night, workshops, classes, and other events that bring residents together. Proceeds from all sales are reinvested directly into the KVIS programs and initiatives that benefit the Kenmore community. The Chamber's Small Business Award honors organizations that demonstrate excellence, innovation, and a strong commitment to community involvement. Made for Good was selected for its distinctive nonprofit model, dedication to supporting local creators, and its role as a welcoming gathering place in the village. KVIS President Melissa Foster said the recognition reflects the collective effort behind the shop. "We're deeply honored to receive this award," Foster said. Made for Good was built by volunteers who believe that supporting local makers and reinvesting in our community can go hand in hand. This recognition belongs to every volunteer, artist, and supporter who has helped make the shop what it is today. Made for Good is located at 7 Warren Avenue in Kenmore and welcomes residents to explore a space dedicated to local creativity and community connection. For more information about Made for Good or the Kenmore Village Improvement Society, visit villageofkenmore.com. villageofkenmore.com. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour has been Elizabeth Ortel. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of our Southtowns papers, including Orchard Park, Hamburg, East Aurora, and West Seneca's B papers or Sons. At 3 o'clock, we have the Ample Eagle, and at 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. Stay tuned for these readings and more throughout the day, and contact us if you have comments, suggestions, or questions. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Volunteer radio readers broadcast daily readings, 24 hours a day, of newspapers, magazines, books, and other printed matter to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. The Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service has broadcast almost 40 years of radio readings to those without sight. Our broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading Studios are at 1199 Harlem Road in Cheektowaga. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,